7 o'clock. Welcome to the select board meeting for the town of Lee. I don't see anyone on the hybrid here, but that's all right. Our first order of business.
A red light just went on.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't know if that meant anything.
That means that, yep,
Okay.
that means somebody wanted to come on.
Mhm.
So our first order of business are the open session minutes for October 4th.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
I will second that motion.
Any further discussion?
I'd like to make a comment. I thought
Yeah.
they're great minutes. I thought she's done a great job for us, so. Your first stab out, and they're really good. Thank you, very thorough. Appreciate it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on, we have a public hearing we're gonna start today. Although I don't think that we have much to hear. I don't see anyone from Canna Provisions here. This is for a manufacturing of marijuana permit.
Yeah, so Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
so they're a little behind schedule on the plans for that, the site plan review for the planning board, so, but this will be, they do currently have two other permits, retail and cultivation, so this would be the manufacturing part of that, but would recommend, based on speaking with the applicants, that we that we continue to November 15th.
Okay.
November 15th?
So. So they've applied, their fees paid, we've posted the notice, we're just awaiting the site plan. Do we, do I have to allow public comment at this point if we're opening the hearing, if anybody wants to comment on this?
Yeah, we can certainly open it, but we'll continue it, and we were just saying if there's anybody.
We don't really
that
have anything.
It's here for that,
Yeah.
we can forward over, we can get their contact
Yeah, so-
information if they want.
We're on the public hearing, so if anybody has anything, any comment they'd like to make about our special permit hearing at this point. So I'd be looking for a motion to.
Can I have a point, just a point of
Yeah.
order, Mr. Chairman, just a question. So, is there any reason to invoke the rule of necessity, or are we good with that? I don't know what any advice we got.
I don't know, I'm ready to abstain if.
Right, yeah, so to vote on the actual permit, we need a majority vote, and we'll need the rule of necessity for that. Excuse me, not a unanimous vote, rather.
Sure.
Unanimous vote,
Okay.
being at a three-person board.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Well, I think as far as the public hearing continuation, I'd make a motion to continue this hearing until November 15th at, I'm going to say 7:15, if you're okay with that. We'll get a couple little things out of the way. Maybe you should second and we can,
I
just-
would, yeah,
just till we
just
know
to keep-
what's happening.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, sure.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let me add, looks like you got somebody else here. So, now that we've continued the hearing, that brings us to public comment. So this is a chance for anyone who would like to speak, get up, comment, ask a question. Please come to the podium, introduce yourself, let us all know who you are.
Mr. Chairman, maybe we should just always put A from the general business, update from Kathy Hall. So she doesn't have to worry about public comment time. Anyway, hi Kathy.
Kathy Hall, I'm the chairwoman of the Lee Youth Commission. So a couple of things. The Lee Youth Commission would like to thank the John 21 Middle School Service Club of St. Mary's School for volunteering to do a service project at the Lee Athletic Field by painting the picnic tables on Wednesday, October 12th. The following students and adults participated in this project: Timothy Starczewski, Sophie Springstead, Ella Simone, Enzo Dort, Gus Gleason, Olive Gleason, Tori DeLuca, Amelia Gore, William Felver, Maria Maycook, who's the youth minister, and Elizabeth Enoch, the chaperone. They did a fabulous job, and the picnic tables look great. The Lee Youth Commission would also like to remind those using our parks to help keep our parks clean by throwing trash in the proper barrels, and to remember that whatever you bring into the park, you take out. In addition, if you are planning an event at the Lee Athletic Field, you must contact the DPW 243-5520 to reserve the Garrity Shields Pavilion and/or the field. On another note, we hope everyone enjoys Trunk or Treat on Saturday, October 29th, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at the Lee Elementary School, and Trick or Treat around Lee on Monday, October 31st, from 5 to 7 p.m. And oops, very important, elections are around the corner, coming soon. Refer the town to the town website or call the town clerk for details. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Quite the volunteering squad you have there. Any other public comments at this point? Seeing none, we'll move on to general business. First order of general business, we have a report from the Appalachian Trail Committee.
Good evening. I am Debbie Cranwell, Chairwoman for the Appalachian Trail Committee, and I want to thank you for having me here this evening. Excuse me. First, I would like to thank the Appalachian Trail Committee members for volunteering their time and support for completing the Appalachian Trail Community Draft Application. The application was submitted to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy on October 1st, and we will wait to hear back from them within the next few months. I'm also pleased to announce that an Appalachian Trail Student Assembly will take place on December 8th at Lee Middle and High School, with a winter workshop scheduled for January 23rd and a trail project to be scheduled in the spring. This is being organized by Nicole Clark, an Appalachian Trail Committee member and a teacher at Lee Middle and High School. The December 8th assembly and the programs will be given by the Appalachian Mountain Club, and that's my report at this point in time. Do you have any questions about the application?
Mr. Chairman? I actually thought your application was great. I did look through most of it today.
Thank
and
you.
I wondered if it would be an assist to our citizens here if you, I assume this is electronic, you have this electronically, do you have a website or anything, or is it just, your application must be electronic, I assume?
It was submitted.
Yes, but electronically. Because what I was going to say is maybe you could get it to us and we could have a link to your app so people can read. There's a lot of interesting information here.
Okay.
Somebody may want to read about it.
Is that something that you
Yeah, I
can
have
help me with?
I think I have the PDF copy we could put on there. So,
Okay.
Yeah, good
It's
idea.
just, I think
Okay.
that, I mean, if anybody's interested in either joining, your committee or
Yes.
looking into some of your suggestions of what you want done and your interaction with the businesses and whatnot, I thought some of your ideas were very intriguing. And I just thought people may want to take a look at it. And,
Okay, sure.
That'll give them
Yeah,
a chance
no,
to see what you guys are doing.
Okay, so Chris and I can work.
Yeah,
we
we
can
I
work
thought it was
on
well
that.
put together.
Yeah,
We can add it in a news section
okay.
on there where they will have a little picture and
Okay.
a link to that application, so.
And
yeah.
once we have been approved, I think the committee, because right now we're designated as an ad hoc committee, which probably would be, once we are designated as a continuing Appalachian Trail Community Committee, then we would probably solicit more members.
Yeah.
Because
Sounds good.
that's where we are at this point.
How many members currently do you have?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was very thorough.
Well, thank you.
say that.
And I hope that they come back and tell us they're happy with it and that we can submit a final copy with letters of support that we're presently working on developing, the letters of support.
Who would you be getting it? I mean, obviously, you'd probably want one from us as a Board of Selectmen.
Absolutely.
But Chamber of Commerce, what other groups would get
I'm meeting
involved?
with the chamber this week, and just to get acclimated and have them understand what it's all about.
Okay.
Other businesses within the community, congressmen I've reached out to with a very positive result, being
Nice.
election year, so.
Of course. Well, you've always got our local representative, state representative,
Yep.
and senator after the election, so it'd be good to get hold
Yes.
of
Yeah,
them.
so any other questions, or,
No, thanks for spearheading this. I know it's
yeah.
Tremendous
something that,
amount.
Yeah, we've
it's a
had
lot
our
of work.
moments where we've, wondered, why am I doing this? And then the minute I'm in the woods and out on the trail,
Yeah.
meeting
Yeah.
through hikers, and they're asking for things, then I know it's worth it.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent.
okay,
Very
thank
good.
you.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thanks a lot.
Next order of business, we have a couple, maybe not a couple, but maybe more than a couple. CPA committee appointments. The CPA is the Community Preservation Act, and this committee would be overseeing the funds and how they would be spent on which projects, mostly historical, recreational preservation kind of projects are what the funds are supposed to go to. Yeah, so we only have 2 appointments to make at this point. I'm seeing Tom Logsdon and Stephen Bellafato.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I could just add to that. So, yeah, we've been soliciting members for the last few months right now. At this point, all of the board, some of the boards didn't meet over the summer, so that's why there's a little delay, but all of the boards have appointed their members. So by bylaw, they appoint their own representative. We have 4 public spots. Right now, we had received Tom's information months ago, that the board got that, and then Stephen recently, which his information is on here. So
then
I
there's
think at
2
this-
open spots.
So there's 2 open
Yeah.
spots, but I think at this point, we are starting to collect CPA funds. We have the bylaws in place. We have all of the appointed that it, would recommend that we make those 2 appointments and get the committee started with, 2 vacancies there, but they can start to look at, get the committee together if that, the board would like to do that.
Yeah, so I'd be looking for a motion to appoint the 2 members.
Do we receive anything from Tom Logsdon?
Yeah, we did several months ago when this first came out. I apologize for not adding that on here, but his name had come up several times. He's also,
Okay.
and if the board is good with it after these appointments, I'm happy to reach out to the members and get an initial meeting started with them and go over their information.
I'll move that we appoint Tom Logsdon and Stephen Bellafato to the CPA committee.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next order of business, we have a Berkshire Gas permit for 166 Bradley Street. And I see sign-offs from the DPW and the police department. This is to replace a gas riser at rear of house.
They're gonna have to, just looking at what they have to run, I guess they're jumping into an existing line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we sign off, that we have the chair sign off on the Berkshire Gas Company application for 166 Bradley Street.
And second it.
If there's no further discussion on the gas permit, all those in favor? Aye. That brings us up to the Mass Save BRPC grant. And this is a program different municipalities participate in, and it's focused on helping people with their energy, right? air quality.
Yeah, so the grant is to help
Comfort.
increase participation, and because we have a environmental justice designation in one part of town, we're eligible for this grant that BRPC is actually going to be administering for several towns. Williamstown is doing it right now already, and I believe they had approached us and Great Barrington as well. So it really wouldn't, all it would take at this point is a letter of support, which I can provide to them. And BRPC would be applying for the grant on our behalf, which should be for $25,000 that would be used to help get the word out, advertise, and reach out to people who are eligible, because we have people that are eligible for
Mass Save, yeah.
but they're not, they don't know that they're eligible,
Right.
they don't know what it is, and so this is kind of an outreach. So if you, on one of the pages, the eligibility requirements, our only requirement is we're committing for 2 years, but all of the requirements BRPC will take care of for us with that grant money, so.
So, I got you. So the grant money would go towards our participation in the Mass Saves program.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so we would be included with some other Berkshire County towns that have that availability to get the funding, so.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah,
Yes.
Chris, do you know, I read through this earlier and highlighted some things where, to participate, the participating folks need to have actually someone designate, like 10 hours a week toward this program.
Yeah, I was wondering about
They
that,
wanted
too.
somebody, maybe even more than 19 hours a week. Is that going to be consolidated for all these communities through Berkshire Regional Planning, or are they expecting the town of Lee to hire an additional employee or take one of our current employees and have them designate 10 hours? Do you know how that works?
Yeah, so in this particular case, they would be doing all that on our behalf,
Okay,
so.
so we don't have to
yeah.
hire anybody?
Yeah, they've said exactly, the town would agree to participate,
Okay.
and all the requirements would be taken care of from BRPC.
Okay.
So they would be kind of pooling those resources together for multiple towns, so.
That seemed like a lot of
So they
time.
said we could be as involved as we like, or as little as to say we want to do it, and here you go, so.
And
There didn't seem to be any downside to it from.
Okay.
I'm just curious, is this something that communities must do in order for Lee residents to be eligible for Mass Save?
Yeah, so it's from what I understand, they could do it, this is more of an outreach to help people, make, number one, awareness and reaching out to them and saying, eligible for this and
Okay.
assisting with it versus just kind of being out there and hoping somebody finds out. So it's a lot of marketing and advertising of
Okay.
it. So.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, I think anybody can still go directly if they know about it.
Yeah.
Right,
I
yeah.
don't think this takes us out of the loop.
Right.
By the way it reads, but
But we-
I'm willing to say, if we can get some money and have people reach out to folks in town who need it, I'd support that, as long as we don't have to hire somebody for, if you
Yeah.
hire more than 19 hours a week, then we're in the benefits and all that, but if Berkshire Regional Planning is gonna take care of that.
Yeah, I can read exactly what they said was, this is, the town can be as involved as you want, or essentially just be in the loop and be a sponsor, and they would take care of the other requirements on there, so.
Okay, thank you. Well, do we need a motion
yeah, I
to write a
believe
letter
I-
to them with support?
Yeah, so if you guys are good with this, I will go ahead and write the letter and send it out, so you can just authorize me to do that. I'll take it from there.
So the motion would be to authorize the town administrator to write a letter of support.
For us to become part of the Mass Save grant with Berkshire Regional Planning. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have parental leave policy. So I have a little snippet here. I don't know, should we read? Is this going to be the actual policy here, Chris?
Yeah, so a while back, we adopted a new personnel handbook, and all of the policies that went with it, and that was project that Lindsay had taken a bunch of policies that were kind of everything from, it was old enough that sections were done on a typewriter, so, and put that into a new document, and the board adopted that. Recently, many municipalities and other businesses have changed the parental leave policy, so this is just an addition to that policy, which it's more of a paternal leave than a maternal leave, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but that's what most new policies have gone to. So this was just asking the board to accept that as part of the policy book that you guys did a few months ago.
So I'm reading here, you would be granted, would this be any employee from the town? So like teachers,
This is for town hall. And
Just town
your
hall.
town employees, they have the teachers have a separate.
Gotcha.
And then if there's a union has anything in specifically, a union
Overrides
might
this?
override that, yeah, so.
Okay.
If they don't have it, then the union would follow, anything that's not specified would follow this, yeah.
Kathy.
Ms. Hall has a,
Kathy?
I just wanted to comment that the Lee School District already has this policy in place.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay,
So
they're all
yeah.
set.
Thank you. So yeah, an employee would be granted 20 consecutive workdays of paid parental leave without any deduction from accumulated sick leave. This would be for birth, adoption, child rearing, or court placement, provided that there was a timely request for said leave, and the paid leave is starting immediately following the birth or arrival of adopted child. No more than one such pay leave within a calendar year. This time shall not increase as a result of multiple births or adoptions, and paid paternity leave days must be granted at the town administrator's discretion. So that would be what we'd be adopting as a parental leave policy.
Mr. Chairman. Chris, I have a question about the last sentence. What does that mean? Paid parental leave days also may be granted at the town administrator's discretion. Does that mean for purposes or something that's not part of the language above? It's not a by right thing for them? What exactly?
Yeah,
does that mean?
so that's if they had some other parental things
Yeah.
we're gonna go into, sick leave or personal leave. Those are done by through approval in our new payroll system.
So it would be outside of birth, adoption, child rearing. It could be for other.
Well, if it was
Other things?
a child was sick or something like that, in addition to those 20 days that could be approved. We usually have them use personal days, and then
Or sick
they could
leave.
use sick leave as well for that.
Okay, no, when I read that sentence, it was just like, what does that exactly mean? It's,
So,
just,
yeah,
it's pretty ambiguous in a way. I mean, it's not very specific, so I just wasn't sure what it meant. I have no problem with the policy at all. It's just that one sentence, I just didn't know exactly how you as a town administrator would handle that, but we'll find out.
When I first read it, I thought it had strictly to do with a baby being born.
Well,
That was the
right,
first
or,
thing.
yeah,
But it's not, it's for
yeah.
anything involving a child.
Yeah, much broader. Yeah,
Broader.
and it's not that I'm against that, I just wanted to be clear on what you thought your position was gonna be on approving that.
Yeah, so on that part would be if it was going beyond those 20 days
Yeah,
for some reason,
sure.
that some extenuating circumstance where they needed to use allowed for some flexibility if there was anything additional that was needed. But the 20 days would be,
Okay.
that part is automatic, and
Sure.
it left a little bit of flexibility if there was,
I don't have any other questions.
Bob?
No, I think that's,
I'd make a motion that we approve the parental leave policy as put before us tonight.
I'll second it.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next order of business, we have an assessor's classification hearing, although we don't actually have a recommendation from the assessors or a classification to hold a hearing on, correct?
Correct, yeah. So we did send this in well in advance of this meeting. They're taking much longer than usual. The state has had this for approval for over 3 weeks now, which is usually much longer than they've had. So we did want to post it in anticipation, because we do need to get that done by the end of the month, but the state still has not acted on that yet. So there was 3 or 4 towns that had come in at the same time. They're still working on them.
Sure.
So my recommendation would be that we table this to a special meeting on the 27th.
People here by then, they're thinking, well.
That's what, when I talked to Sarah
Great.
today, she was cautiously optimistic that we would have it by then, but, yeah.
What time do you think that would be on the 27th?
So we were
At this
looking
point.
at trying for a 3 o'clock meeting on the 27th, just for that purpose, but obviously we will post that in accordance with open
Yeah.
meeting law
Sure.
and so forth. We'll go online, so.
I just got to put it on my calendar, so.
So do I need a motion to table? Till then?
Yeah, we could say postpone definitely until the 27th.
Okay. I'd be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we postpone that assessor's classification hearing till October 27th at 3 PM.
I'll second that.
If there's no further discussion on the classification hearing, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Next order of business, we have an annual elderly and disabled taxation fund and senior citizen property tax work-off abatement program letter. So this letter, I don't know if I have to read the whole thing.
I think it's the same as we've been doing for the last X amount of years.
Yeah, it's an annual letter that we put out there for the 2 programs, the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund and the Senior Citizens Work-Off Abatement Program. So I guess I'd be, do you have, either of you have any questions about
No,
this?
no, looks good.
So we need a motion to sign.
Sure, I'll make a motion that we sign off on the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund Tax Work-Off Notification.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, I actually have an application here that came in late that I was going to see if we could act on. It is for the St. Mary's School, their annual bazaar. And this is a application for a sign permit so that they can advertise their you guys have, yeah, okay, you both have one, okay.
The temporary sign.
Right, temporary sign, the date would be, well, that's the date of the application.
Right there.
So yeah, their dates are gonna be, October 21st to November 21st. And so about 18 days within that span, 15.5 square feet in the sign. Yeah, any questions?
If I remembered correctly, there's more than one location, I think there's 4 signs.
Right, there are 4 signs on the back here.
Yeah, and just looking to see where they would go, as long as they're not a hindrance to line of sight for cars.
Location of signs or of property: Car Hardware, corner of Park and Orchard, St. Mary's Church, and St. Mary's School. So that's where they would be displayed.
I don't have a problem with that, I guess.
I think we usually grant a fee waiver for nonprofits on these
Yeah.
as well, so.
I'll make a motion that we approve the application for the 4 signs for St. Mary's School and the fee.
I'll second it.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I don't have anything further on general business. That brings us to the town administrator, Chris.
And I did actually get one more thing in for consideration after posting. And that was a group of 10 citizens that
Oh, that's
had
right, yeah.
had done a petition for a request of determination from the Conservation Commission on the proposed UDF site. It was kind of an unusual thing, but usually when a UDF comes in, it's for some specific project or whatever. In this case, that wasn't. They were doing it, again, because it was the UDF site and wanted the Conservation Commission to look at that. So again, 10 residents had done that by petition, and the fee that it cost for posting and so forth was $104, which would normally gets passed on to the first person on there. So they were asking for the board to consider a fee waiver of the $104 for that application. Otherwise, the resident would have to pay that for posting fees. So
What does the fee cover?
I'm assuming it's posting fees.
Like,
that we,
you mean in the paper? I mean, I guess I'm not, for the
Yeah.
conservation stuff in
Right,
the post.
yeah, because it was that, and because it's the request for determination involves some posting fees in there, so that gets passed along to the applicant. So they did reach out to see if we would consider waiving that, since it wasn't for, it was done under different circumstances than usual, so.
So, just so I get it straight, so they don't, Conservation Commission doesn't have in their budget something for posting fees. It's always done by whoever's applying for an NOI or.
Well, they do have some in the budget, and those fees usually go back into the general fund and then
okay.
go up on
Gotcha.
in the recap sheet.
No,
So,
it's
yeah.
not that I have a problem, I'm just trying to understand how their fees are based.
It's the same as like for this hearing tonight for
Yeah.
CANA provisions. We have certain fees for notifications and butters and so forth, and we pass that along to the applicant, so.
Okay.
Well, for most of the time, this would be for a private concern. like-
Yeah.
Right, well, that was
Yeah.
the
This is
circumstance.
a municipal
Sure.
concern. So-
Sure.
So I'll make a motion that we waive the fee.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that brings us to the town administrator.
All right, well, speaking of a related topic, I do have the most recent ROR report. So EPA reports that this week GE contractors are conducting banks and sediment sampling in the REACH 5A, designed to characterize contamination in the banks and sediment, which will be used to help design a remediation plan. They expect that work to last through October. The 7th interim baseline monitoring plan surface water sampling event is scheduled for October 25th and 26th, and they will collect surface water samples from 8 locations. EPA will do a split sample for quality control purposes. Sampling results will be used to refine the 2-year pre-remediation baseline sampling program, which is scheduled to begin in 2023. And there are no field activities at the Upland Disposal Facility location this week. The other thing that I wanted to share, and there was some information in your packets, but Sean had gotten some questions from some residents about municipal aggregation, so asked me to kind of look into this. So my purpose tonight was just to kind of report back to the board on what I found, see if there was further interest. If there is, a representative for Colonial Powers agreed to come out and talk a little more about the program. But essentially, right now, I'll try to put it in a nutshell. We're getting our power release from Eversource. Every 6 months, Eversource goes out and gets contracts with a supplier for electricity, and that's what our bills are. So on the bill, you're seeing the supply charge from Eversource and not the supply charge, the distribution charge and then the supply charge. What many towns, many of our neighboring towns have done is municipal aggregation, where the town negotiates for its own supply. So this typically results in a lower electric rate. That's the main goal of it. Right now, for example, I looked at a couple of neighboring towns. They're a couple cents cheaper per kilowatt hour than we are using the basic rate from Eversource. When that happens, we can also have more control over what RECs we want on there, the amount of renewable. Now, the more renewable usually brings the price up a little bit, but it allows us to negotiate rather than using the 6-month rate that Eversource gets. We could, if rates are at an all-time low, we could negotiate a 3-year contract and lock those prices in. But it does give us a little more competitiveness in the electrical supply that we get. So all of the towns in this area, actually most of the Commonwealth, goes through Colonial Power, which is who I had reached out to, and as I mentioned, the rep from there is happy to come in if you guys are interested. The process takes a little bit. We have to accept MGL 164 at town meeting first to be able to do this. So this would, if we like the idea, that'll go to town meeting. Then they do a plan on how we'll purchase that. The select board votes to accept Colonial Power's plan. And then there's a process with Department of Public Utilities, which could take up to 2 years. So it's not a quick project that's going to happen overnight. But it is something that so many of our neighbors have benefited from. So the only other significant thing I wanted to mention is no one's forced to use the municipal aggregation. You can opt out of it.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
everyone will get a letter. The Colonial Power Group sends the letter out on our behalf. And if they want to keep your basic rate, you just send it back saying we do, and you'll stay that way. So there is an opt out with it. So if the board would like to have more, I can reach out to the company and they can come out and do a bigger presentation. But before I got them out here, I wanted to let you know what we had. So,
Gordon, any questions? I thought it was an interesting idea. Negotiate for some cheaper rates for residents. I think the one downside we were discussing when the other day was you may get hit with a significant increase all at once, right? Is that?
yeah, so like a town that's on a 3-year contract, maybe they're in, right
we've
now
got that
been
locked
enjoying
in.
9 cents a
Yeah.
kilowatt hour for the last 3 years. And
But then
then
you've
the
got to
contract
renegotiate.
renegotiates, maybe it jumps up a couple pennies all at once where we've seen it gradually, but in the end, you're still paying less because you've gotten cheaper rates and now maybe you're a little closer to the basic rate. So you could see a bigger fluctuation in it, but long run still paying less, so.
How many other companies are there out there to choose from? I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
I
so-
have no problem with them coming in and talking to us,
Yeah.
but
So this is the only one that's right now that's doing anything
Okay.
with Berkshire County
Okay.
towns. I can certainly see if there's others, but by
just
far,
wondering.
the Colonial Power was where,
It certainly can't hurt to get a second opinion.
yeah, exactly.
More
So
info?
I guess it would be good to have them come in and talk to us, and then at least people who want to watch this at home will be able to understand, what the process is and how long it's going to take and all that.
I'll reach out and see if he's available
Sure.
in November or December he can, I don't know if you have a preference, he said he'd come out, I think he's in the Worcester area, in person, or we can do it via Zoom, so he said either way, it's fine.
If he's willing to come, I think that's always better, myself, for everybody to have him here, so that'd be my
All right.
thoughts
perfect.
on it.
I think that's everything I have.
Municipal aggregation. Okay. You guys have anything you wanted to bring up?
No?
Well, I just let you know that, you appointed me on the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization. They're going to be having a meeting on October 25th, a Tuesday. It's an afternoon meeting, so I'll be attending that and letting you know what's on the agenda and all that after I go and see what's happening. Okay?
Very good.
I'll give you an update then.
I just wanted to bring up, the master plan committee had another meeting yesterday.
Oh, good.
We interviewed Mr. Chris Britton here. There for about a half hour. I thought it went really well. I know I had brought up to both of you about maybe coming to, and that's what we talked about, having a number of department heads, town officials come. So maybe that might be something that I'll talk to Peter Blum about putting us all on the agenda. One of these meetings. I believe our next meeting.
November 1st.
Yeah, is that right?
Our meeting?
Our meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, our meeting is our next meeting is November 1st. The master plan committee, I believe, meets the 21st of November. So we can kind of. I'll see if he wants to, if Peter has another department head in mind, or if you both would like to join that meeting at that point.
Oh, if we're both there, we'll just have to make sure that we get it posted.
We got it posted, yeah.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, because we will be discussing
Yeah.
town issues. That's all that I wanted to say at this point.
Oh, just, you kind of reminded me of one more thing, Sean, that
Sure.
our MVP committee will kick off this week on Thursday that we started.
great.
So,
What time is that and where?
it's going to be 2 o'clock in the courtroom on Thursday, yep.
All right, very good. Is that, again, it's an open public meeting? Anybody
Yep.
wants to come and sit in and listen and ask questions and see how the sausage is made, then they
That's
can
right.
do that.
So, I guess that brings us to the end of our meeting here. Our next regular meeting is November 1st. And I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.